Man in the Peugeot 205, Curtis Mitchell on the outside the front row, ready for the rolling start. Safety cars in the pit lane, red lights are on the bridge. And we are ready to go racing for the final time here today, live on Motors. Away they go. And Danny Cassar is definitely the man to watch. Right behind him in third place is that Renault Megane Coupe. That was very quick as well. And on the outside of the third row, Steve Rothery in his red Renault Clio, our camera car, on board with him. In front is 33. That is Ian Butler's Ford Focus, long-time leader in race one. Got shuffled out and onto the grass. Has gone the Renault and the barriers come up towards him.
Not good, not good.
That's a very big impact, I'm afraid.
Nasty shunt. Very, very committed through the first corner. There'll definitely be a safety car, if not a red flag. There'll be a red flag, I would have thought. Yeah,
red flags are out already at the marshal's posts, and that was a very heavy impact. You saw him trying to hang on to the car. That's that's a Honda Integra R goes off there. He's found the lubricant. You saw him trying to just gradually steer it away from the barriers, but so little grip on that wet grass, I'm afraid. He was on a trajectory that he just couldn't alter.
Yeah, just a little bit too keen too early on, really, which is a shame. You can see the red and white flags there. The white flag means there is a service vehicle on the track, so an ambulance or a truck or whatever trying to retrieve the accident. So red flag means slow down, pull up to the starting point or back into the pits. So I presume, yeah, we're all going back into the pits now.
Into the pit lane to clear the track to make sure that there's room for the rescue vehicles. That is a real shame because he was going really well in the first race, Steve Rothery, and big impact. And that Parts Direct Renault Clio really looked a sparkling car, handled well, went well, very well presented. So very unfortunate accident. And just a wheel or two on the left-hand side of the car onto the grass, and it will have just sucked him off there, because once the car had that side of the car had dropped lower than the race surface, it will have drifted out further and further into the barriers. So very unfortunate start to the race for him. Well, there you are with the helmet in his hand is Steve Rothery walking around to survey the damage, and that is extremely good news for him, if very bad news indeed for the Renault.
So here's a replay. So very, very committed, flat to the floor, should have lifted a little bit earlier. He's now, again, committed, he's feathering the throttle, bang. He thought that he was just going to smudge by the Armco there, but it just flicked him up. His arms really should have been stationary on the wheel, so his arms are all over the place. So, you know, I hope he's all right. He'll have a few bruises. That was just too committed too early on a wet, greasy track, really. So, silly mistake. He'll be really, really seething with anger, and so will his bank account as well. So, lots of parts from the direct car there. But I'm glad he's okay. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
that's what we care about.
The car, I'm afraid, will be a total write-off. That will need a new shell, new roll cage, and everything else. And you could hear him just as he started to drift off the track, just lift a little bit, and then he felt the confidence to just keep the power in and not to lose too many positions. And actually, you know, he was almost clear of the end of the barrier. He just caught the last metre or so of that big barrier there. And you see how much the earth has been cut back? If it had been cut back another metre or so, then he would have skated straight by the end of it and been able to rejoin, probably with no ill effects. But as it was, enough to launch the car into the air.
So what will be happening now is all the drivers will be just sort of checking whether, or who it was, what happened, where it happened.